81-year-old woman was carjacked while feeding the homeless in California. If that storyline doesn't just tug at your heart, I don't know what does. The third factor in this one is my mom's 81. That could have been my mom. Like going to get groceries after church or something, and you get your car carjacked when you're 81. When you're 81, you've kind of made it to that spot where you're like, all right, don't have a lot of years left, but I made it this far. Could you imagine getting your car jacked? You've never been jacked before in your life, and you're 81. Fortunately, this woman, it appears, we're going to watch video footage in a second. It appears that she got up unharmed even after this punk kid took her car, drove off with the trunk open. I mean, what a jackass thing to do. But this is kind of what our world has come to, right? They don't care whose car they're taking. They're just going to go off, do another crime, buy another stolen gun, shoot some people, steal some stuff, steal some more cars. And then our judicial system isn't going to prosecute them when they do get caught, especially in California, especially in Cali. I mean, you got crime just kind of running away unabated, right? All right, let's get into this one. Before we do, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies here in Seattle, Washington. Why wouldn't I read a story like this? Let's get to it. Okay, we're going to watch a quick video. It's a wild video. Camera footage is like really close up on this. So let's take a peek. See, there's no sound, so I will narrate. You've just got a big parking lot. I don't know, grocery store, something like that. And you've got a silver SUV. The trunk is open, and the woman is doing something in the back. And then trunk is still open, and she's kind of monkeying around back there. And then somebody looks back at her, and then he gets in the driver's side door, closes the door. She's hauling around. She's opening up the driver's side door. Nope, can't get it open. Nope, can't get it open. She's pulling. And all of a sudden, this kid takes off, and she gets slammed to the ground by the car. A couple of other people come up to try and help her, and the car thief puts it in reverse, takes off with the trunk still open. Down the highway that dude goes. Now I'm watching, and she's on one knee. She's getting up. Somebody helps her up. She kind of brushes herself off. That's a tough lady. 81, that's a tough lady. All right, merely a flesh wound. Rub some dirt on it, get up and go. All right, so let's take a look at this storyline and see what else happened in between here, all right? An 81-year-old woman was carjacked while she was handing out meals to homeless people outside of a supermarket in Southern California. Nina Steinman was handing out food to the hungry in the parking lot of a Slater Brothers in Redlands on Monday, which she told KTLA she'd been doing regularly since January. She's doing a good deed. And she's like, well, that's the last good thing I do for humanity. Those guys suck. Whoever took my car, that guy sucks. And he does. He didn't know the woman and, handing out food, but that's not the point. You shouldn't steal other people's cars. And yet we've got an epidemic of this going on, right? While handing out the last of her homemade meals around 3:30 p.m., 24-year-old Roberto Carlos Sanchez Jr. approached Steinman's silver vehicle and wrestled her keys away from her, officials said. So he must have done that before he got in the car. Video released by the Redlands Police Department allegedly shows Sanchez, dressed in all black, approach the back of the gray 2015 Kia Sportage while the trunk was popped open. After an apparent scuffle, all right, that's what happened, he runs to the driver's seat. He probably threw her down. I mean, what a hero. You're throwing an 81-year-old woman to the ground after stealing her keys. You must feel really brave and big and strong and heroic, right? What a numbnut. Somebody needs to take that boy out back. You know what I mean? Steinman can be seen trying to open the driver's side door to no avail. She's trying to open it. The kid didn't even lock his door. He probably didn't even put on his seatbelt while he's stealing the car, right? With the trunk still wide open, Sanchez Jr. quickly reverses out of the parking spot, dragging Steinman and knocking her to the ground as she holds on, video shows. He then speeds out of the parking lot as several witnesses try to stop him. Horrific. Handing out food, you're doing your good deed, you've been doing it for months. Now you got to worry about some jackass stealing your car when you're doing a good deed. I guess you got to always worry about some jackass stealing your car, don't you? Yeah, I've become really aware of that. Even when I've got my car like in the driveway and I'm mowing the lawn or something, I go into the backyard. I'm like, okay, did I leave my keys in the ignition? Did I leave my keys not in the ignition? Because they don't even go in the ignition these days. They just got to be inside the car and then you can drive off, or whatever goofball stealing your car can drive off. But yeah, so this literally happened. Steinman was not seriously injured. I can't believe that because, I mean, as the car backed out, she literally got thrown to the ground. Most 81-year-olds, broken leg, broken arm, broken clavicle, you name it. I mean, this is not exactly the time in the life when you want to get thrown down, right? I don't want to get thrown down at age 53 because I know I'm just so much more brittle than I was in my 20s, 30s, or 40s. Just, after a while, your body's like, yeah, being thrown to the ground on asphalt, with a big hunk of metal whizzing you there, it's not where you want to be. The driver made off with her wallet and purse, the outlet reported. Let me tell you, I'm not afraid, the defiant senior told KTLA. I was going to grab his shirt and just drag that little puppy right out of the front seat, but I couldn't get the door open. That's why I wanted to read this article. I was going to drag his shirt and just drag that little puppy. I was going to grab his shirt and drag that little puppy right out of the front seat. Could you imagine what happened to you? Well, 81-year-old grandma threw me to the ground after pulling me out of the car I was trying to jack, and now I'm here in jail. I mean, what an embarrassing story. That's not going to happen. An 81-year-old woman is, she might slow the guy down a little bit, but, that's not going to happen. Police said the thief was spotted on westbound 10 freeway with the rear hatch of the stolen car still open. I mean, why would you pull over and, look a little less inconspicuous? We're looking for a silver Kia whatever with the rear trunk open fully going down the freeway. That can't be that hard to spot, right? Yeah, California, a lot of traffic. And on the 10, westbound 10 freeway, good luck. Good luck. But with the rear hatch open, that's going to stick out a little. Obviously, it's not a smart criminal, but, whatever, right? The vehicle was also spotted on Wednesday in a parking structure in downtown LA. Sanchez Jr. was arrested on suspicion of being in possession of stolen vehicles, cops told the outlet. So they did catch him. He's being held at the West Valley Detention Center in San Bernardino on charges of carjacking and elder abuse. I hope they throw the book at him for elder abuse. I do. I really do. I mean, it's just mean. And if you are coming up on an elderly person that worked really hard to get to that age in life, life is a struggle, right? It's a struggle. And sometimes you're like, oh, dodge the bullet there. Literally, right? I mean, we've all had those accidents where you're like, okay, yeah, that could have been me. That wouldn't have worked out so well. That would have been horrific. Terrible. I was talking with one of my guys this morning. We had a incident, the Ship Canal Bridge here in Seattle. It's really close to where I've got my boat. It's I-5, Interstate 5, which goes, way Canada, way down south. And what happened at 4:30 in the morning, a kid, he's 22, he's an EMT, he wanted to be a doctor. He's graduating from the University of Washington. He's from Ethiopia. He was adopted very early on in his life. He gets through UW just about. He's an EMT going on to a career. His car breaks down on the Ship Canal Bridge, which is 180 feet over Lake Union. Car breaks down. He's sitting on the hood, calls his girlfriend. His girlfriend's coming to get him. Well, another 22-year-old who's been drinking all night. It's 4:30 in the morning. He bashes into the rear end of this guy's car, hammers him into the guardrail, and then the guy's body plops over into the water. They send the dive team to find him. It takes like a couple of hours. Just, one of those horrific things where you're like, all right, that didn't happen to me. It happened to that other guy. Life is dangerous. how would you prevent that? I guess you prevent that by not getting out, in the very early morning hours of your vehicle, but it's broken down, right? We've all done that. Yeah. Guy lost his life because a DUI kid came up behind him and bam, hit him. Both cars got flipped over. So just a horrific, horrific accident. This woman made it to 81, gets her car jacked. Now this kid is going to get, elder abuse as well. I don't really know what are the charges for elder abuse. I mean, over what age is it elder abuse? Like, am I close? Like, I don't know. I'm 53. No, I'm not close. Do you have to be like over 70 before it's considered elder abuse? Is having a president who isn't aware of his surrounding, is that elder abuse? I'm just saying, go out there and give a speech. You'll be fine. Read the teleprompter. You'll be fine. I don't want it. Go out there. It's okay. Is that elder abuse? Some would say it is. So he's being held on elder abuse and charges of carjacking. I'm sure they'll let him off, right? Let's see. You ripped off an 81-year-old woman's car after she was done serving food to the homeless. You're pretty much a, solid human being. Why wouldn't we just let you out on your own personal recognizance? And you do promise to come back to court, don't you? You do, right? Shake your head. Shake your head. Okay, yep. Let him free. Let him free. His bail was set at $250,000. All right, so even to bail out, he's got to come up with $25,000, right? No, that should keep him there. That should keep him there for a little bit. Glad to see that. Probably had an old judge set bail, right? I mean, he's like, you jacked an 81-year-old woman's car, $250,000 for you. You're a threat. Steinman, meanwhile, was reportedly heading to LA to retrieve her car, which is still drivable. Man, can you imagine? Car gets jacked. Would you want that car back after that experience? I think every single time I get in that car, you start looking around and, I hope nobody's going to jack me today. This is literally what's going on. Carjackings, the increase in carjackings, the stories on carjackings. Every time you turn around, there's something going on, right? It's because these thieves have just become emboldened. They can go after it because their odds of getting caught are slim. I'm glad this guy got caught, and I literally hope they throw the book at him. But unfortunately, so many times we don't catch them. And these cars, we've talked about the number of cars that are, being stolen here in Seattle. Hell, we've got an open air chop shop that is just, dozens and dozens and dozens of cars in it. But the police aren't doing anything because we don't have enough police to, cover basic safety in Seattle. That's just a thing. We just don't. So the carjackings, the chop shops. I read a story early on during the pandemic. They had a chop shop in one of the tents in a homeless encampment. And, as long as you keep everything covered up, you're okay. But it was a bicycle chop shop. And the guy's like, yeah, somebody just came by and donated all these bicycles and all these bicycle parts. No, they're taking big lock clippers and cutting off bikes and selling them and selling parts and, because there's a good market for that. So you need a bike? All right. Well, that's a very expensive bike. Not today. Not today. Deep discount for you. Wild stuff going on out there, right? Haven't seen the whole, chop shop and a tent in a homeless encampment. Haven't seen that storyline for a while because I think we're a little beyond that because we're clearing out our parks. We're kind of getting there as far as that goes. But the open air chop shop here in Seattle, that's gotten some storyline. I went down there with my videographer who also flies the drone. We were trying to get our own drone footage, but it was near an airport and we couldn't launch the damn drone. And it was just one cluster after another. And then I started hearing all these sirens and then I start looking around going, God, I've read a lot of stories down here. And this isn't the greatest thing. Let's go back to Bellevue. Let's go back to Bellevue where I'm probably not going to get robbed. It'll be a lesser robbing if that does happen. Now, it feels like this is what's going on, right? We're an 81-year-old woman handing out food to the homeless. Do you think she's going to go back there and do it? Kind of sounds like she's spunky, right? Sounds like she's spunky, talking about grabbing him by the shirt and holding on to him. I mean, she did try and hang on to the car, and that's kind of what threw her down on the ground. After that, I mean, I would have just been, give me an ice pack. I can barely walk. Oh, you know, I don't know how this thing will end up as far as the guy being in jail. Who knows? It's California. But if I see something else, I'll keep you posted. Man gets 10 years for elder abuse. I'd love to see that one, wouldn't you? So check back here to News for Reasonable People. I'll read it for you if it comes up. Thanks again for being here. We'll catch up soon. Talk then. Bye for now.